man, this is really good shit, huh? Yeah, man, this is really cool. I'm feeling really good, man. I can't wait to get home. We can watch our favorite video podcast. Hey, I'm Talkin here. Oh, yeah, man. I love that show, man, with Steve Rizzo and Eric Bam, the Bam Man, man. Wow. Hey, I was thinking, I wonder if those guys get high. No, man, I think they're on a natural high. Hey, you're probably right, man. Let's get going.
Oh, we're on. Hello, everyone. Steve Rizzo here, and welcome to Hey, I'm Talking Here. I love this show. We've been having a blast. I don't know how many episodes we have so far, but we're really getting in there. We have a nice following. And this, as you listeners and viewers already know, this is a show about empowerment. It's an entertaining show. It's a show that can take you to a better place personally and professionally. All you need to do is listen and have a good time and tell your friends about it. I would appreciate it. Did I say depreciate? Yes, I would appreciate it. And this show is brought to you by Conversations with Bob, which is a book that I wrote and which gave me the idea for this show. And my guarantee to you that if you read this book from cover to cover, you will realize how much power you have over every aspect of your life. And I'm not bragging. That's just a fact. Bob told me to say that. If you want to know who Bob is God. Can't argue with God. I mean, you can, but you can't win because God's always right. Right now, it's my pleasure to it's been a rough day, folks. I just want you to know that. It was a very challenging day. Even though I got a new car today, it was a very challenging day. And doing what I do for a living and knowing that you have to walk your talk can be quite difficult at times, okay? So let's just bypass that right now, and that'll be a whole other episode. I'll tell you what I went through. But let me bring up my team, the wonderful, my director, my producer, my tech guy, and my good friend, Bruce the Man. Hey, what up?
I cleared up.
Hey,
I was all blurry. It was pretty blurry before the show. I'm actually looking. Maybe we shut down the backup.
See, now
because usually we back up. We're backing up. We keep talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you look better.
You're talking here.
Yeah. Hey, I'm talking here. All right. So, how's your day going so far? Better than mine, I hope.
Good. Yeah. My nephew's in from Texas, so we got to see him. Haven't seen him in like almost a year.
Oh, cool.
So he came in for his high school reunion. He is. How old is he, or how is he doing?
How old is he?
He is like 40.
Well, good. It seems like you're very close because you know his age and everything. Okay.
Well, he's my wife's nephew.
Yeah,
wife's
yes,
sister's son.
Okay, that's cool. Let's bring up Eric the Bam Man, my good friend Eric. I saw that. I want my desires. Sign me up. Cool. You're signed up. Eric, how are you, man?
I'm happy to be here, and if you can please quit talking all your negative self-talk about your situation from today, I'd appreciate that because you're bringing me down. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. I had a tough day, man. I'm sorry. It was really tough. I almost killed 2 people. Let's just put it this way. My motivational skills just wasn't working.
There's Jen Gitomer.
Jennifer, I love you, Jennifer Gitomer.
We were talking about Jen pre-show, just talking about her and her drum beating that she's doing, and which kind of gets her connected maybe with the divine or higher spirit or whatever. And I think it's interesting and cool.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer is a very interesting and cool person. She is herself. She's so her, and I think that's a cool thing. I think that's something we should all aspire to be. Is our authentic self, which is
she's almost as cool as Bruce.
Almost, not quite.
I'm going to step back and let you continue with the show because a lot of comments coming in.
A lot of comments. Good. Let's read some comments before we get into everything. Let's throw some comments out here, Bruce. Okay, I can see them all pouring in right now. We already got that one. Hey, DJ Flores, Steve is the man. You're right. DJ, how are you, man?
I like that. You're right.
He was one of the guys that was in the audience when I did the Rock Your Life seminar in Dallas. Yo, 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 it's Rizzo and Bam. And of course, Bruce. Nice to see you all. It's good to hear from you and see you, even though I don't see your face, Ted. That FB user is
Jay
Skinner.
Skinner, the palette guy. So
hey, man.
There we go. Jim Perry, Bam the man. What's up, Jim? Jim is a friend of mine. So howdy y'all, Facebook user. Jen Gitomer. Steve Rizzo says, hey. Did you say hey yourself?
No, but somebody else must have.
Well, we got DJ Flores again. Agreed. BU. There you go. And
cool.
Denny Page. Testing. You're working today, Denny. You're live.
Yeah, working, Danny. Sorry, the last time no one could hear you, but you're live now, so we got you.
I'm excited about this show today. I think it's something that for you and I is very near and dear to our heart. And talking about how to manifest your desires. And it's funny because I think some people, when they saw that, they're like, ooh, our desires. It's not like that. It's not like freaky, weird stuff.
It's not weird. It's in theory, it's very easy, but applying it can be quite difficult because most of us are caught up in the negative zone. And when we say manifest your desires, it's what separates those who are consistently successful and happy most of their lives, and they have a way of viewing life's challenges as just a lesson that needs to be learned, and they know damn well that when they learn it, they become empowered, which is what life is about. And it's just about what your thought process is like. And folks, if you'd have been a regular, that's what we talk about most of the time here. You are the creator of your success and happiness. You are the only problem that you will ever have. And it's all based on your thought process. What are you thinking day in and day out? A lot of people try to manifest the things that they want, but they have the wrong train of thinking. These are the ones that wake up in the morning and say, oh man, another day. What am I going to have to go through now? Focusing on all the crap that didn't work the day before, just focusing on everything that isn't working. And then they expect for the universe to work in their favor. Yeah. How many times have we said this, Eric? What you think is what you get, and what you say out loud is what you ask for. It's all about taking control.
1,612 times I've written it down.
Yeah. You wrote it down too. Yeah.
I just actually, it's kind of along the same lines, but maybe a little bit different. But I just posted a video on Facebook and Instagram within the last 2 hours of. I don't normally ever do this, but I actually deleted 2 people off Facebook in the last couple of days. And one was like this super self-deprecating stuff all the time that I think it's okay to have some self-deprecating humor in your life a little bit and go like, oh, I'm an idiot. But you do it all the time. That's because you believe in it and you want people to feel sorry for you. And that person never has anything good going on in their life because they truly believe all that negative stuff. And then the other person I deleted was everything was that person's wrong. That's awful. That sucks. That's the worst. And I just had this kind of moment the last week or so of we've got to be so incredibly careful about the energy that comes to us from the energy we're putting into things. Yeah. And I looked at these 2 people. One of them was DMing me constantly like, oh, my life sucks. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Do you have a house? Yes. Do you have a car? Yes. Do you have a job? Yes. You have so many really good things to be thankful for, but you choose to see all the negative. And when you see all that, guess what comes back to you, baby? All that.
That's right. Because the more you say your life sucks, the more your life will suck. That's right. By the way, even though the name of this particular episode is Manifest Your Desires, it's also you could manifest the things you don't desire.
Big time.
The things that can absolutely destroy your life. And that's your mindset. What mindset do you carry with you throughout the day? Because that mindset are the determining factors that will determine how successful and how happy you're going to be. It's not the situation. It's not the circumstance, no matter how severe it may be. It's what you do about these situations. It's the thoughts that you have about it. It's the optimistic, positive energy you set forth that can turn that around, even though something may tragically be missing in your life. Like I have a brother that's 100% disabled from the Vietnam War. And I've mentioned this a few times, the only man in medical history that ever survived that wound. Now, he could have been focusing on what was missing, and it was at one point he was, but then all of a sudden something transpired where he was lying there in the hospital for 7 months and said, this is what I have. This is who I am. What do I need to do to live the life that I desire? even with this unfortunate circumstance that took place in my life? Who can I go to that can help me? What strategies need to be implemented for me to live a life where I can be successful and happy regardless of what life has taken from me? That's the mindset that is needed. Now, he could have also turned that around, Eric, and he could have said, and there were people next to him in the same ward that didn't experience that much of what he was going through. And their train of thought was so much in the negative zone. I can't believe this has happened. My life is ruined. I'll never be able to do this. And maybe at one point you might not be able to do what you thought you could, but did you ever give yourself a chance to even comprehend what you might be able to do that may be totally different than what you thought you were going to do? Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
Jennifer.
Bang that drum, baby. Bang that drum.
You're talking about my drums now. I gotta pop in here and say, hey.
Yeah. This is kind of funny because I'm actually doing the standing up live today, and it wasn't up just enough, so I had to prop my laptop up with that. So
I love it. Oh my goodness.
Jennifer, I was just talking about you before the show, before we even aired, that you're one of the most optimistic, positive people that I know. Thank you. No, yeah, I'm not. I'm just. That's why I just said we got to connect with her right now because you were on my mind. So I'm so glad you're able to take time. I've watched you. I watched you at the Gitomer conference that we had in Charlotte, and you were just, your energy level is just over the top, and it's not a put on, and.
No, it's real.
I've got here's an interesting question, Jen. So someone could look at you, or maybe look at Steve, definitely look at me and you for sure, and think, wow, they're really successful, right? And it's easy to give when you're successful, and it's easy to be thankful when you're successful. When you were younger, and before you were Jen Gitomer, and before you wrote your first book, and were you always wired this way, or did you learn to be this way?
I learned to be this way from my dad. So he is the most generous person on the planet, and the most positive person on the planet. If you ever told him something negative, he would come right back at you with what the good is in it. Right. And so we were once in New York City, and my French cousin wanted a pair of sneakers. He asked my dad, where did you get those? They're so cool. And my dad knew they were these limited edition, you couldn't get them anymore sneakers. He took them off his feet and gave them to my cousin.
Wow.
That, yeah. And so that's what I observed. That's what I watched my whole growing up life. So I'm very fortunate for that because it shaped me into who I am.
Yeah, but what else I noticed about you too, Jennifer, and I want everyone that's listening to get this. You have a mindset.
Backing up. Backing up.
I'm parked now. We're good.
You have a mindset that you carry with you throughout the day. You have routines that you wake up with that you do every day. You get up at a certain time. You know certain things need to be done. But before you're the type of person that instead of thinking everything that needs to be done, you're saying to yourself, who do I have to be in order to get it done? What's the mindset that I have to create to get this and this? And you do that, whether it's tapping that drum that flipped me out. You dance around the room sometimes to put on your happy dance to get in that great mood. I've seen you. And I love this woman. She's absolutely over the top with stuff like that. Yeah.
It's funny. I've just started showing that kind of stuff on Instagram. I hadn't really been showing all the stuff I do because it's a little bit nuts, but people are really digging it and it's wild. And if you asked me a couple years ago if I'd be drumming on the beach, I'd be like, a person, but it's so grounding. And there's just something so healing about really taking an hour in the morning to get into your own energy. If you want to manifest something, how can you manifest it from a place of shit? You can't.
No. And that's what you do. And folks, this is the point.
A place of shit. Someone quote her on that.
She spends that hour creating this mindset. And she's saying, screw you to all the negativity that's out there that can't wait to consume you. And she's saying, no, I'm my own person. I have my own energy. So she creates this thing, whatever she can do to make herself happy. She does these little dances. She'll tap on the drum. She'll do some mantras. She meditates. I know she does that. And she won't allow any of this crap that can, maybe it's stuff that happened to her the day before that didn't work out. She knows it has to be done and turned around, but she won't focus on the negative aspect of it. She's focusing on what needs to be done for me to get this situation to where I want it to be. And we all have the power to do this.
You know, something I've been talking to my 10-year-old daughter about the last month or so is, are you going to be brave or are you going to be liked? Right. And for Jen for you to post that stuff on Instagram, it's you being brave and not care about being liked. It's so amazing. I on that video I posted today on Facebook about the couple of people I deleted was we used to define ourselves by the 5 closest people to us that influenced us. And now it's 200 people or it's 2,000 people that we see on social media that influence us. And so Jen takes the opportunity to go, look, maybe you think it's hokey and I don't give a shit, but I'm going to do this in the morning because this is me being brave and vulnerable and it works for me. I don't care about whether you like me, because the true people that like you will like you in spite of that, or they'll like you for that. They'll lift you up in spite of that, or they'll not. Like that.
Well, I think
your true people are still going to root for you.
I think she's embraced by everyone because of that. That's who she is. I think if you reveal your authentic self every day, and it starts at the beginning when you wake up in the morning. Jeffrey does the same thing. Her husband does the same thing. Jeffrey's one of my closest friends ever. And I know the mindset that he creates. I learned from him. I know the mindset that he creates. He will not allow any outside circumstances, any negativity to interfere with what he knows needs to be done. You know why? Because he knows what that negative shit can do to you. He knows that. And he knows that there's a power within him. We all have this authentic part of ourselves. You can call it the universe, the God part of you, source energy. It doesn't matter. You can call it Bob, as they say in my book. It's a great book. And but
self-proclaimed great book.
While we're talking about that, can I read something from this book?
Sure.
This is from page 152, talking about manifesting your desires. See your creation happening in your mind's eye. Super important. Feel the momentum building and allow those thoughts and ideas of elation to merge with your emotions, which in turn will become one potent force. Potent. I think of Steve and I think of potent. One potent force within your heart, and feel the explosion of that force flowing through your entire body.
Yep.
I mean, if that doesn't summarize it, you've got to see it in your freaking mind, and you got to freaking attack it. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But
I appreciate you saying that, because that was the conversation that Bob was given to Bernie. When you pray, it's not the words that you're saying; it's the feeling behind the words. Feel it, and you could when you can visualize that which you desire, and you could feel it with your heart and soul, you're getting closer and closer to manifesting your desire. And
I've got
feeling is the prayer. That's the thing.
I've got an interesting maybe sales question for Jen, since we got Jen on the phone. I wonder. I was thinking about this today. Like I'm really good. Like I have like personal and work goals on a laminated card, right? And I think salespeople tend to write down what they want, in a sales funnel. But I wonder how many salespeople don't actually apply that to their personal life and write down what they want personally. Like if you see a list of accounts that you want, you're going to go for it. You're probably going to have some pretty good success because you're seeing it every day. But I wonder if salespeople don't do that in their personal life as well.
Yeah, I think thing is typically how we do all things. And so if you're doing it well in your sales business, so to speak, your sales career, and you're not doing it in life, like you got to ask yourself why. Right. So if you're writing down that list, like, first of all, I love it on a piece of paper, but how many times a day do you look at your phone? 50?
A million.
I don't know. A lot, right? So why not make it the backdrop of your phone?
Yeah, or the lock screen.
Backdrop. Yeah, the lock screen, like whatever it is maybe the back screen is like your business stuff, and then the lock screen is your personal. Maybe it's a combination, but like, why not put it on your phone where you're going to see it every time you click into it, and it may make you think twice before you start the scroll.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you were saying before, Eric, about your daughter, and you said something about like we used to be the value or whatever, like who we hang out with, the 5 people, right? And now it's about Instagram. It just made me think, like, who's in your Instagram feed or who's in your Facebook feed, because that's who you're becoming. And do you want those, like, do you need to let go of some people? Do you need to let go of some accounts that you follow? Are they helping you or are they hurting you?
Yeah. And you know, on another note too, you're talking about your sales goals, and are you doing that in your business, but are you doing it in your personal life? Eventually, though, what's going to happen, if you're not walking the talk like you are in your business on your personal life, it will eventually affect your business. Because in my view, you can't separate your personal life from your professional life, because both of them are parts of you that make up the whole of you. And eventually one's going to catch up with the other, and it's going to have a lot of distortion if you're not walking the talk on both levels. You have to have
100%.
Yes, you have to have that balance. And that's something a lot of people do. I know when they spend those hours at work and they're thinking positive, but then they go home and they let that crap bother them. Eventually, that stuff that's not working in their personal life, don't make fun of me, Eric.
I was making fun of Jen. She turned her screen.
I was trying to turn it so I could be sideways like you guys.
Oh, cool.
But I think you can't do that on the phone. Then I'm upside down.
Well, my point is, it's got to be a balance. You've got to walk the talk on both sides of the spectrum.
So Steve, to your point, we learn these things, and theoretically in the classroom or when you're reading a book or whatever, like, we conceptualize them, right? Like, oh, of course you have to be positive. And of course, and what I found, like, even though I grew up in a lot of positivity, I also grew up half with a negative side of, my other half. And it's easy. I think it's easier sometimes to be negative. It's easier sometimes to, like, commiserate with, like, of the BS that's going on. And so it's one thing to learn it, it's another thing to put it in practice. Like, what happens, like, for you today, right? Like, you had to probably take out all your tools to make today okay, to be here and show up for your show, for your people.
Oh, you have no idea. It was a very tough day. It was a trying day. It was a mistake that the car dealership made when I bought the new car. And I just, but then all of a sudden something just clicked, and I just went, you know what? This is just another learning experience. This is just something. And I thought of my granddaughter, who often looks at me and says, I think it's about time you read chapter 3 or chapter 4 in your book. And that's what I think of, So
I'm dealing with new car issues today too. Is that synchronicity or what?
Yeah. And it can get to you because it's seriously, are you kidding me? This is supposed to be one of the most enjoyable. The purchase of a home or a car is supposed to be exciting. And when someone that you're dealing with that's selling you the car is totally screwing up, you're just like, no, come on. I'm not even going to get into the details. I'm not going to mention names or anything. But I was just like, come on, man, why do I have to
tell us about that?
What dealership was it?
I'm not saying.
What's their phone number?
What's the guy's name?
Hey, while we've got Jen on here, one of the things I wrote down for us to kind of just chat about, and we can do this together, is just kind of, we talked last week, Steve, about actually like the nuts and bolts of manifesting something you want, right? And I'll give you a good example. I had a buddy last week who said, I really want to start a podcast. And so I instantly go into, okay, well, here's how to do that. Here's what you do. And for me, we've had this conversation. It's about, write it down. And then it's like, start figuring it out. Like, how do I get there? And it's like, download the Anchor app. And I think social media is used wrong. I think social media should be our online photo album, number one, which it is for a lot of people. And then I think secondly, it's there as a tool to follow people that can help you get to what you want. So if you want to do a podcast, maybe it's following Ken Walls, maybe it's following Jen Gitomer, maybe it's finding the people that help you get to where you want. But this is a guy that was like, I want to do a podcast. And then he just walked away from it.
Yeah.
That is the miss. It's the nuts and bolts of doing a little work to figure out where to go, right?
You know, that's so right. When I was married, Gina and I, we had this house that we both I think this is a great example that we both visualized in our minds. And we had no idea what this house was going to be. We knew it was going to be on Long Island. And we went from house to house. We had different realtors, and we never got frustrated. We both had the vision of the exact house that we wanted. Not only did we have a vision of the house itself, but the ride home from work towards the house, the whole area. I mean, we visualized it all. So we went from house to house, and every time we thought we were going to get a little frustrated, we both reminded ourselves, no, this just means this isn't the house that we want. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, one of Gina's friends said, there's a house way out east on Long Island. And I immediately said, I don't want to live way out east. And Gina smacked me in the back of the head and said, you don't know that. And I said, yeah, but I got another smack in the back of the head. And she said, let's just give it a try. So all of a sudden we're driving, which is a distance where we were driving out east Long Island. And as we're driving, she looks at me and she goes, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm going, this is the drive. This is the scenery that we were talking about on our way to our house from me driving from the airport back home. It was the scenery. That was the whole trip towards the house. And then we got deeper into this rural place, and she made a right and a left. And I'm going, I looked at her. She looked at me. It's exactly what we were visualizing, the same type of trees. Then all of a sudden, she pulled up to the house, and we grabbed each other's hands, and we just went, this can't be the house. And she said, this is it. It was an old house built in 1916. It was a stone house, just like we visualized, stone and cedar with a stone wall around it, perfect for the 4 dogs that we had because she was a dog trainer. It was exactly what we wanted. The only thing we needed to do was to gut the entire house because it was built in 1916, and it was amazing the way it happened. It's exactly what we visualized.
I Google mapped that house. It had a moat around it as well, so very, very cool. Well, you know, my story, you know, we've talked about this. My story on the house I'm in now is a
Hi, Kellen.
And you can see right back through here is the master bedroom. And I remember being in this house before it was completely done, like 5-6 months from being done, and sat right there and I knew, like, I stood there and I thought, this is where the bed's going to be. And I visualized, like, looking out and it hit me. You know, I've told you this story, Steve. It hit me like a month after being here. Like, it just was one of those very, like, surreal moments. Like, holy shit, this is exactly what I thought about. And here I was.
And the key is to believe that it's going to happen, even though you don't see it right away, even though you're going try after try, and not just a house, but if you're trying to create your own business. People go into business with a very good attitude sometimes, and they pray with a great attitude, but then all of a sudden they hit a wall, then another wall, and all of a sudden that positivity shifts, and they start saying things like, I knew this was going to happen. Every time I try to do something, it never works. Why does everyone else have what I want? I go 2 steps up, 5 steps back. This is bullshit. I shouldn't have invested all this money. People call it negative self-talk. I call it self-curse talk, because you're casting a spell on your life. Everything that you worked for, you are now diminishing it, because the way the law of attraction works, you're actually creating another manifestation process. And what you sow is what you reap, and that's what's going to happen.
I will tell you,
you're manifesting what you don't want.
Exactly.
One of the coolest manifestation things right now, in a weird kind of way, and I love it, is the lottery is like $1 billion, right? And if everybody watching this, if you raise your hand, if you've literally been driving like Jen's driving, just imagine if you won $1 billion, and what would you do with that? And we all, like, in our heads, like, wow, we can picture it, right? Why aren't people doing that with just their life?
That's exactly it.
I can picture what I want and what it looks like, and going and getting it. By the way, along the same lines, one of the things I've hated forever is fake it till you make it. It's such a bunch of shit. Be it until you see it. And, you know, we talk, you know, on the show about, you know, praying and about God and about the divine or whatever and the universe, and thanking God in advance for what you want because you know it's coming is really freaking powerful.
Well, not only coming, that if you could visualize that you already have it.
Yeah.
I told you.
That's the thing.
Go ahead. What?
No, if you can visualize it, it is already inside of you.
Exactly.
God has, or source or whatever has already created it with.
Yeah,
it's already there.
I know. And
bang the drum, baby. Bang that drum.
Bang the drum, baby. That's right. I said this story before, and I'm going to say it again because it's worth it. When Jim Carrey was on Oprah, and he had this mindset, man. When he was starting as a comedian, he was on the same level I was at. He was living in California. He would drive up to Mulholland Drive by himself and look at the stars over the cliff, and he would actually visualize what his life was going to be. He would stay there for an hour, and he would get out of the car and psych himself up, get back into the car, because he saw what was going to happen, and he would drive home with that optimism. And one day, he decided to write himself a check for $10 million. $10 million. He wrote it out for services rendered and what he did for a living. And he knew what was going to happen, and he gave it time. This was on Thanksgiving Day. He took the check, he rolled it up in like little squares and put it in his wallet. Forgot he even had it. Okay. He put it in there and he said, I will get $10 million someday for services rendered. And he wasn't making any money at all. He was on that level where I was at many years ago, where you're just busting your ass trying to get a name. So he became pretty famous, and he gave himself 5 years to get that $10 million. It was almost 5 years till the day. He wrote out the check on a Thanksgiving Day, put it in his pocket. 5 years later, on Thanksgiving Day, his manager called him. This is a true story. Manager called him and said, you are now getting $10 million for the movie Dumb and Dumber. Yep. Yep. Now,
so
you know
cool.
what? You people say, well, it'll never happen to me. As soon as you say that, you're right. It'll never happen to you.
You're right. When people tell me they're bad at manifesting, I'm like, yeah, okay, I bet you're pretty good at it, but you've just manifested what you don't want, because that's what you focused on.
You're really good at manifesting at what you don't want.
Actually, you're really good at it. You're just focused on the wrong things.
You're so right. You're so right.
Hey, Steve, I was going to ask you, do you think toilet paper should go over or under?
Oh, man.
Jennifer, he does this every show. He'll come up with a question from left field, and he hits me every time, because as soon as he gets, go ahead. What?
You go. No, I think you did that when I was on a live once too, and I'm like, what is he talking about?
He did. That's the way he is. That's why nobody likes him.
It's true.
Oh boy.
It's true.
I think it should go over.
It should go over, and the toilet seat should always go down, right?
No.
You
I look at it this way. If I go into the bathroom and I want to pee and I put the seat up, see, if I want to put the seat up and I leave it there, look, if you want to go and you have to sit down and go, it has a lid. That's why it goes up and down. There's no right or wrong. If it's your turn and you want to sit, you put the thing down.
This is an interesting conversation. I had a girlfriend of mine a couple weeks ago. She said, actually, there's the seat and then the lid. If everyone would just do both of them all the time, we don't have a problem.
Well, I always tell women, I say, look, if you're sitting down to pee, do you leave it up for us when it's our turn? Well, no, it's not supposed to. I said, why isn't it supposed to? Why?
Well, do you ever see them in the store with it up? You always see it with it and the lid back.
Yeah.
Think about how they merchandise it.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good point.
We've gone off the rails.
We've gone off the rails now. It's all your fault. Wait a minute. Bruce got to say something.
That's all feng shui. If you have the lid open, you're letting your energy out. So you want the lid down. Because the bathroom should be closed, because the bathroom drains all your energy.
So it's bathroom energy? Is that what you're talking about? You could manifest in the bathroom?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, the bathroom is the energy. Yeah,
Steve, is that what happened to you today? Did you manifest a bunch of shit in the bathroom this morning?
Apparently, that's what happened. Well, you just lost Jennifer.
Yeah, Jenny's like, I'm out.
No, sorry. There's a tow truck coming for my car, and I just had to make sure that the text wasn't them.
Are you driving your new car?
It's being towed, though. It's going to be towed when when the guy gets here.
Is that the Porsche?
Yes.
What kind of Porsche do you have?
A Cayenne.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Wow. So that's why you're upset, because there's something wrong with your Porsche.
You know, it's okay. It is what it is. I'm safe. The car's fine. I'm fine. That's really all that matters, right?
I love my Porsche.
No, that's not what all matters. Somebody screwed up on the car. That's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Put the seat down, damn it.
A lot. There's what I was gonna say about the toilet seat, right? Is Jeffrey says the secret to a successful marriage is separate bathrooms, and now I know why.
Oh, absolutely. Bruce, I can only imagine living with Jeffrey. That's got to be a real pain in the ass.
Bruce, post a comment from DJ Flores. This is why I pay for the internet right here.
Yeah.
Explosive
manifestation. That's funny, DJ. I'll tell the jokes, all right, pal?
That's why I pay to be on this show.
Denny Page, will you fall in if the seat is down? Yeah, with my skinny ass, I probably will.
Thank you, Kellen.
Jen said.
What's
keep the comments coming, Bruce, if there are any more. I know we had quite a few before.
Jim Perry says toilet paper over is a beard and under is a mullet.
Hey, Missy Lavelle, that's my social media marketer. Thanks, Miss.
Oh, hey,
you're doing well.
We're just having fun now.
Okay.
Goals: doing what others are not willing to do now, so that later you can have and experience what others won't, because they were never willing to put in the work. Bam.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, well, you were talking about negativity before, Jennifer. It is easier to be negative because it's this way. Your mind gears to blaming the situation or the person or society or something, and it's so much easier. And you can actually create in your mind valid reasons why it's not your fault. That's why that's why I'm in the book, Conversation with Bob, there are 3 principles that the book is based on. And a lot of people have a tough time with those principles, especially the second one. You are the only problem you'll ever have, and somewhere within you there is a solution waiting to be discovered. And the first one, you are the creator of your success and happiness. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And if I didn't stop stuttering, maybe it would sound a lot better.
So what's your number one way then to stay neutral or positive in a rough or tough situation?
Say that again.
What's your number one way to stay positive or at least neutral in a rough or tough situation?
Never jump to a conclusion, and immediately become aware. If you know you're going into the negative zone, it's awareness that always sets you free, where that's going to take you, not only in that moment, you will take that with you probably throughout the day. And that's what causes manifesting the things you don't want.
Oh, you got to go.
So my tow truck is here. I'm going to leave. So I'm going to get out in a second. I'm going to leave you with this. I agree with that, Steve. I would also add that your breath is the single most important thing to be in control of. When it's high and tight, you're in flight.
Yeah.
Or fight, right? When it's low and slow, like in your belly, you're in flow. And so if you find yourself getting worked up, just check your breath and figure out, and there's all these different tools you can do to calm it down, but just, low and slow.
Wow, Jennifer.
I thought you were going to say you had bad breath, Steve.
No, Jennifer, that's what happened to me. That's what I thought you were saying. Jennifer, that's what happened to me at the dealership, because I felt my anger, but when I walked away for a second and I felt this going, then all of a sudden I went,
yes.
As soon as I went like that, and then all of a sudden I started rationalizing. I said, it's not his fault. It's not the sales guy. It's the dealership itself. Love you, Jen. Thank you. I know you guys.
Jen Gitomer. I think she's gone.
Yes. No, she's not. Love you. Thank you.
Bye.
We got to connect.
Love you guys. Bye. Thanks
Bye.
for having me.
See you later.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Bye. She's wonderful.
Yeah, that's actually a great point she just made, talking about controlling your breath and just physically how you feel. And I kind of caught myself yesterday. I was walking yesterday morning, and I just realized how my freaking shoulders were up at my ears for some reason, and I just stopped for a minute, just literally wow, I felt so much better. And it probably is pretty powerful to think about. For me, I know it is for me moving forward, just to kind of just your body language, how you carrying yourself.
Yeah, you're right, DJ. Stop and be calm. It's not easy, but the more you do that, and the more you ask yourself questions real fast, what will be the consequences if I hang on to this anger, or if I respond from the negative side of myself? I have clients to meet today. I have goals that need to be achieved. this could affect my entire day and then some. And I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Yeah. I think to come back to just kind of what you said and to what I said right when we kind of first started talking was just be intent with your energy. Be intent, kind of talking about your body language and your breath, but to be intent with your energy, what's coming in and what's going out.
Yeah.
It's so important to just, I don't want like just to having a good day sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm so big on like, I'm one of the things we've talked about this 100 times, but I'm really big on like, look, I've got my goals laminated in there right here. And I look at them every day and I use social media as a driver to help me get to what I want, because I'm following people that motivate me to get what I want. I'm following people that are where I want to be. I'm following people that are doing what I want to do. And that helps me hit my goals. I use social media probably less as a lot of people probably use it as entertainment. And I use it more as a vehicle to kind of create what I want. And people aren't doing that.
No, I know. I know. No, too much. A lot. As a matter of fact, most social media is used for negative results. So
yeah, no doubt.
Anyway, Bruce, are there any more comments? And then we're gonna end this baby.
We got a couple more here. You have to think every day about the positive you bring to the people around you and surround yourself with positive people. Being born with a disability since birth, if I didn't do these things daily, life would be so much harder. And I agree 100%.
Appreciate that, Ted.
Ted's in a wheelchair. I mean, I have a fake eye. We've talked about that, and it's maybe not to the same disability level that Ted is, but it's it's something that for me, it builds character. You either let it build character, or you let it define you and tear you down.
Feed the good wolf. That's right, man. DJ, feed the good wolf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it. There you go. That's a place I'm trying to stay away from. Sounds like it stinks. Are we talking about the bathroom, or what are we talking about here? Toilet paper? As a young adult, my cousin gave me the nickname the Great One. There you go, the GOAT. Ever since my daily goal is to teach someone they are the Great One. You are all the Great One. That's
that's so cool.
That's awesome,
That's
Ted.
so cool, Ted. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all the time, actually. Bob is alive.
Bob is alive.
Yes, he is.
Lots of bottom line stuff in that book. Jim is correct. Jim is a friend of mine and a good dude. And yes, there's a lot of great stuff in this book. Everyone needs to pick up.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. And if you get a chance and if you really liked it, I would appreciate a review on Amazon. And don't forget to tell them I'm very handsome.
Well, we're going to wrap this up for today.
I like this. The pain of discipline and pain of regret. Yeah. Jim,
where is that one? Did I not see that one?
Jim Perry.
Oh,
hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Amen to that. God is your brain. What is it? Your heart is God and your brain is the devil. Control your mind and feed your heart. Good wolf daily. Be you, and the universe opens the right doors and closes all the others. Along those lines, I had this written down too, just hadn't really found a time to work it in. This is probably the perfect time. We have things in our life, I think, that are distractions that we almost kind of like, I wish I wasn't doing that. I wish I wasn't doing that. But what I found that works for me, I'm going to show this again, but when I write down what I want and what my goals are, it squeezes out those things that I know aren't important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you really start focusing on what you want and what's important, it just pushes all that stuff out. It pushes the noise away, because then you become focused on feeding the good wolf. Yeah. It just pushes other stuff away. And I think that's one of the things people don't get.
Yeah, I agree. Well, any other comments? And if not, we are going to wrap it up. Oh, so much easier to be negative, Jen. Eric B. Flannery. That's right.
It's true. That's very true.
On the parade. Yes.
Well, this has been fun.
Did you think the house would have a privacy fence?
I think Denny's talking about your house out there.
I know she is. Yes, I knew it would. We had to build one, actually. Yeah, we had to build one besides the wall. Yeah, because the wall was only halfway around. We had to build another fence around it. It was 2.5 acres.
Very cool.
That house is gone now. Oh, God. Shawnee Riz, that's my son. The secret to marriage is sex and communication.
Is it in that order? That order?
My son.
While your son's on here, Steve, did you and your ex ever have a safe word or what?
Did we ever have a what?
A safe word during sex?
A safe what?
Safe word. You know, when things got a little too intense for you, you didn't yell bananas or anything like that? Or?
No. We never had a safe word. No.
Okay.
I just cursed a lot.
Bump, bump.
Patience and look at the long look, not just today. Yeah, that's right, ma'am.
Play the long game, baby.
I'm saying if you leave the seat up, oh, here she goes again. If you leave the seat up, she might fall in if she expects the seat to be down in the dark in the middle of the night. Apparently that's happened to you, Denny.
Good stuff.
I try to look at things from a long-term perspective. Does this incident or scenario affect my life? Yeah. Looking term, yeah.
You know that when Jen's comment about how do you handle those situations when they pop up, and I don't know if I necessarily go, oh, is this going to affect me 5 years from now? But I tend to I'm wired just to be thankful anyway. So sometimes in the worst situations, I'd be like, well, I still got a roof over my head, and I still got a car, and I still have a job, and I still have kids, and I still have food, and I still have heat and air. Like, you know, things aren't that bad.
I get it. No, I dig that. I dig that, and I appreciate you. I appreciate Bruce. I don't know how many episodes we've had on there, but you know, I feel we're feeling more comfortable. We're having a lot of fun. We have some really good followers, some really good listeners, and everyone that is listening that didn't want to give comments.
Well, there's a good comment over here from your son.
What do you say now? What's another one? What
the
did he
key
say?
to marriage, communication, and anal. We need to end this show now.
God, Sean.
Bum, bum, ba-da-ba-dum, bum. We need to end this show. Oh,
I forgot to tell them you were handsome,
Bruce,
Steve.
just end the show. We're going to end the show on anal.
Bring back the last comment first before you end the show. What was that last comment? Oh, you're in a Bob. If you want to purchase the book, it's your analbob.com. Yourinnerbob.com. Sean, please don't. I can't believe you said that. I forgot to tell them you were handsome, Steve. That was in reference to Jen talking about a place. Oh,
place of shit.
Okay. Facebook user. Yes, I am. Thank you. All right, everyone. We love you. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Bruce. We're out of here.
Bum, bum, ba-da-ba-bum, bum.
Bruce.
Bum, bum.
Good night, guys. Another Bruce. Hey, Tom. Good night. Thank you, Tom.
Good night. Thank you very much.